Well, hello, everybody. This is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and we shall be glad in it. I'm Dr. Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the Book Business Boss Consulting, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and for the Kingdom Ministries, building people to build the kingdom. So today, it's kind of a tough one. Hard questions and hard times. In Second Kings, Elisha and Elijah are going along, and the younger, they want to. They got requests. They got things they want. They got questions. They got requests. They got. They know exactly. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they know exactly what they want. And he's been serving. He's been working, pouring water, retrieving. And so it's time for the mentor to go and ask the mentee, what do you need from me? Because I'm about ready to go off the scene. The Lord has let me know. And he says, I want a double portion. And he says, you ask God a hard thing, but if you see me go up, then you'll get it. Well, of course, for me, if that would be my request and that was the requirements, then I'd stick right close. And he did. He stuck right close and he got the mantle and the double portion and yay, and got to do way more double than what his mentor had done. But that doesn't necessarily mean that always happens to everybody. Sometimes we have some hard things that we need answered. We got some hard questions that we need to ask, and we need some answers. And sometimes we can demand answers and plead and beg and fast and pray, but sometimes he don't talk. So sometimes you can be in a hard season and there's some hard questions. So you can ask some hard things. Um, but first off, let's just know that who we're asking in Genesis 18:14, is there anything too hard for the Lord? No, there's nothing too hard for God. He can do anything. He can do anything. He is sovereign. He is omnipotent. He's got all power. He's omnipresent. He could be everywhere at the same time. He omniscient. He is he omniscient. He is omniscient. He can he knows everything. But the question, the most difficult part about it is he can, but will he? He can change it, but will he? He can turn it around, but will he? He has the power to speak it because we've seen it. We got examples of it. Just speak the word and I'll serve it. You know, surely shall be. You ain't even got to come in my house. You ain't even do it because I've done it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be totally transparent and tell you I've done the same thing. I'm like, God, you could just speak this. You don't even have to. I don't need no long prayers. I don't need no long involvement. We didn't got to do no whole big thing. If it be your will, it it can overnight. It can happen overnight. And so sometimes those really hard things are really hard because there's nothing too hard for God. He can do anything. He can do anything, absolutely anything. He can turn it, he can change it, he can fix it, he can rearrange it. He can raise the dead, heal the sick. And I've heard that and I've seen it too. And he can, I've seen people dead and then, whether it was the doctor or whether the nurse resuscitation, they came back to life and lived. Sometimes months, sometimes years. They were gone, flatlined out, and the Lord allowed for them to come. It wasn't their time to go, whether it was science or the miraculous power of God. Okay? So there's really nothing too hard for God. And I think a lot of times we see those things there to increase our faith, there to help us to see the miraculous or the supernatural. But as you get older and you mature, those hard things get harder. Those harder situations get a little harder. So it's like, I had a difficult time in first grade with greater than or less than. But then realizing if I didn't have that foundational structure, I wouldn't have been able to do algebra in high school. If I didn't learn my numbers, and then adding the numbers and then subtracting the numbers. And then third grade, we were multiplying the numbers. And then division, long division, short division, whatever, all them new divisions, whatever, that new math or whatever they got going on. But it had to be foundational. There's levels to this. We start here and then we build. And so some of those hard questions and hard times we faced because we thought they were hard back there. Because greater than and less than was just like jumbles in my brain, at 6. But by the time I got to 16 with algebra, I remember what daddy was trying to teach me with greater than and less than. And then it became easier when I got to high school. And then I could apply that first grade knowledge to now 16-year-old knowledge, to 10th grade, 11th grade knowledge. So the same is with life. Some of those things it's a journey. It's not a sprint. It's not something that's going to happen. And it's going to be painful. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. Because we know he can. And we're like, well, why didn't you? What was wrong with me? Why didn't I get it? I see them getting the miracle over there, but the miracle didn't come to me. The miracle didn't come like it came for a sister so-and-so, a brother so-and-so, and the couple down the street, and they got the miracle, and they got to have their baby full term, but I didn't get to keep mine. They got to get a house, and I'm still in a condo. They got to get a condo, and I'm still in a studio apartment. Like, he can, but will he do it for me? So sometimes you have to say, I'm doing all I can do. And then I know God can do anything else. So it's that horrible middle in the middle that says, I got to wait. Job said, I got to wait till my change comes. Because Isaiah 55:8 says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, and neither are your ways not my ways, said the Lord. Now that's the Lord saying. I don't think like you. I don't move like you. The way I do it, because have you ever said, well, okay, you can't really get excited about the end result because it was the how we got here. What? Is that the way you? Because the way he would do it and the way we want it done, sometimes we reject it because it's the mode of transportation, how he's getting it done. Maybe like I think you could do it overnight. Like really, God. It's nothing but what in scripture said. It's just but a light thing. You spoke the whole world into existence. You can't speak over my problem and do it like I want it done. You spoke the whole world into existence. 7 days, created everything. By the word let there be, and it was, and it happened. And so my situation can't change the way he's thinking and the plan that he has and the direction he has and the way he wants to go and the things he's trying to do. Good morning. What he's trying to get out of you and what he's trying to get out of me has got to be worked through, not your way, but his way. Because if we trust him, if we say he's my father, he's my king of kings, he's my everything, that's just not accolades. That's not just, as I tell people, Julia, you're just stop gassing me. So sometimes we gas God so we can maybe manipulate him to do something. That's witchcraft, or swing them your way. And, I'm just going to, no, he's worthy of all of it and more. But you're not going to move him. You're not going to change his mind. You're not going, because his thoughts and the way he wants to do it. And I've come to the conclusion as I'm getting in my 60-some-year-old age is that there's some situations he wants you in you can't get out of. There's certain things that happen in your life you can't buy your way out of. It won't happen. There's certain things that happen in your life. Not your network, not your village, who you connected to. And can just make a phone call. I can just. Now, sometimes that does work. Sometimes that is the way. God says, call this one, go there, ask this one, send a letter, send an email, request that one. And it does happen, but still not, he doesn't always do it the same way. He doesn't work through the same method every time. Because sometimes the lesson doesn't get across if we do it the same way, the same time. Ask any teacher. Sometimes we read it, sometimes we sing it, sometimes we movement with it, sometimes you're reading by yourself, sometimes you're reading in a group, sometimes you're reading the whole group. You gotta reinforce it multiplicity of ways. God is no different. That's how we learned it. Because some of the ways and the strategies he used was totally unorthodox. We see that with Jesus on earth, and all the ways he used. But that is for our teaching. That's for our learning, to let us know he's not going to do it the same way every time. That he's able to do everything. There's nothing too hard for him. But how he's going to do it, and what method he's going to do it, and what way he's going to do it. So sometimes those hard questions are met with just one, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not to thine own understanding. But then you got to start with the T word, the trust. But sometimes it's a hard question, and you just rack your brain over and over again, and God ain't saying nothing. He's not going to necessarily answer. Because one, you got to trust him. And when you can't trace him, when he don't say nothing, you got to trust him anyway. That's a part of the testing. That's a part of when it's time to give the test, the teacher, unless it's just something real specific, you can raise your hand and you can ask the question. But it all depends on what you asking as to whether you even get a response. Because I've raised my hand to ask a question about something. The teacher came over to me because we were supposed to be quiet, and she just looked at me and walked away. She didn't say nothing. She didn't reply. She didn't. It wasn't necessarily the answer to the question. I was trying to rearrange the question and get her approval that I was headed in the right direction. She couldn't tell me that. She didn't want to give it. You had to trust yourself, trust God, and trust you. What you learn, what you study, you got them the hard questions. So we won't know what we have in us until we go through the hard thing. We won't know that experience. That I'm back to my first grade, greater than or less than. We won't know, did we really get that concept until we get over here to algebra, till we get to the harder math. We won't know how we learned and applied those skills, and how our faith, precept upon precept, line upon line, that we should build. It should grow. Our faith should grow so that we say, well, okay, he helped me through that. He helped me through back there. He helped me through this. This is hard. This is harder than it was back there. This is more difficult. It's not just math now. This is life. I lost my fish, but now I got to lose my mama. I lost my keys, but now I have to lose my brother. I lost my $5, and I don't know where it is, but now I'm about to lose my whole job. So just like he carried you through that, seems elementary, seems so small, you're going to need him for the big ones. You got to trust him for the big things, the hard things, the difficult times. You got to trust him even more. He brought you to this 1, 2, and 3, the numbers. Now it's time to do letters. Now it's time to do, yeah. You got to trust him with all your heart, not just a piece of it, not just, oh, it's just something easy. I just want these shoes. I just want this dress. Sometimes it's not tangible. Sometimes it's not something you can have in your hand. That question of why, and why me, and why not me, and then why now, and why not now? Why can't, what? Often I say, oh God, I didn't even realize I was that strong. What? And you pick me? They stronger than me over there. Pick somebody else for this. This is the rough one, and no help, and then your pride gets in the way. Then you don't want to ask for help, and then when you do ask for help, it's just your basket of emotion. Hard questions hard questions. And I'm sometimes I'm like the children. Now, God, I know you see us. Hello, you see us, and I know this is a sign you coming to get us. But when that is, how long it's gonna take? When you gonna get us? When you go? So we have to go back to the T word, the trust. So one of the characters in the Bible had many of them had hard things, but Job was one of those. Had some difficult things. Lost his children, lost servants, lost everything, confidence, even his friends. If you read all the whole book of Job, them was probably one of the worst friends ever. I mean, you think they're gonna try to comfort you or whatever. They were just terrible. And you need to do this, and you don't. Ugh, I don't blame them. They got to go. And then God said, "Okay, I'm done with all these speeches. I'm done. I'm sick of hearing it. Where were y'all when I laid the foundation? Where were y'all when I said night and day? Where were y'all? Who are y'all to question me on what I do?" And so then once we realize the power of God, He sits high and He's looking low at the full picture, then you got to go back to your trust. Okay, I trust you. You know what you're doing. I trust that you got all power. I trust that this is not the way I want it to be. This is not what I had in mind. This is not what I like and what I prefer. But then we got to be like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Let this cup pass from me. He can, but will he? Because we've got to understand that it's at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, it's not my will, but thine will be done. That's it. Now, as a disclaimer and a quantifier to this, though, there are some reasons some things happen because it's our fault. So we have to owe up. We can't just say, "Oh God, you didn't. God, you didn't." There's some things if we really hard questions were, but you still could have overrode me. No, you got a part to play in it. Jesus, every miracle he did, there was a part for the human being to do. They either had to ask, they either had to tell him what they wanted, they either had to go look in their house and see what they had, what's in your hands, what's in from Moses, what you got in your hands, what you got. Come on. Noah, you can build, okay, build me an ark. You could have used something else. It could have been something else. He's like, okay, Noah, you're an ark builder. You never built an ark before, but you obey me, you do what I say. Okay, this is the specifications to it. Because there's some hard things and hard questions and hard assignments that he's gonna give you that you've never done before. And might not have never seen nobody do it. Ask me, I'll tell you. But he knew it was his will be done. And that's what I eventually had to say when I walked away from positions and walked away from people and walked away from my plans and my purpose, my ooh yay, when I had to walk away from that, I had to get to that point where I said, okay, you're not gonna let me sleep and you're not gonna let me get away with it, and prophecies and keep getting laid out on the floor and all that sidebar. People, when you keep getting the same repeated prophecies from different people, some people said they get prophecies from people, strangers in the store. God said for me, he don't care. He can use anything. He use a donkey, he use a bird, he use anything you want to use, and you still ain't getting the message. So some parts of this, it's not really. Sometimes it's your own stubborn will that's causing some hard times and some hard questions. Okay, so I'm gonna let that just sit right there. But say, "Not my will, God, but Thy will be done." Now, it's not going to necessarily make it less painful as a human being. Jesus cried in the garden, sweat, drops of blood, everything came out of his pores. It was agonizing. Just even think about it. But he still had to surrender and say, "Not my will, but thy will be done." In this hard season, in this hard time, sometimes that's where you have to go. Not my will, but thy will be done. Hard questions and hard times. Sometimes he's not going to answer like you want. Sometimes he'll do exceedingly abundantly you could ever think or ask. Sometimes your way was detrimental. Sometimes your way was harmful. Sometimes your way put you in the path of peril. That's where I'm going to leave it. It was for your protection that it didn't happen like that. It was for the provision of God to reroute you and redirect you somewhere else. So sometimes you ask, well, why didn't I get there? Well, why? And then Bishop Noel Jones preached a message years ago. Have you ever got what you wanted and seen what God wanted you to have? Baby, the people was, they didn't need nobody to lay hands on her. After he finished that, we was all like, okay, God, only give me what you want me to have. Have you ever got what you wanted? I'm going to say it again. And seen what God wanted you to have. Been there and done that too. And after that message, I was like, no. And then seen later what you thought you wanted and saw what the condition of it was, or who it was, or the position it was, and what all went with it. You lusting after something, you claiming something that ain't even for you. Oh no. It looked good because they had the grace for it. It looked good because they had the skill set for it. They had the personality for it. They could handle that stress level. That stress would have killed you. That you wanted that, but that was for them. That wasn't for you. So not my will, God, let yours be done. And oftentimes he'll allow you to live long enough so you see the results of what you thought you wanted and what you pouted and I've done it. Tried to not talk. Ooh, because that's kind of my MO. When I get real upset, I don't say nothing. I'm different than some people. And some women do. No. When I've really had enough and I'm really like, ooh, to the next level, peep, not a peep comes out. And I got in trouble with God about that too. I closed my mouth and said, no, 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 no. I can deal with crying, I can deal with fussing, I can deal with complaining, but you're not gonna stop talking to me. I said, yes, sir. I know everything about you. I know the hairs that's on your head, the ones that's falling out in the sink and in the toilet and in the shower. And I know what that silence means. Hello. Not my will, but thy will be done. So that we can live our best life, coming up at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right there on envision-radio.com. 11 a.m. the Spike Davis and Friends show. And then Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Book Business Boss show on envision-radio.com. And the replays, the Book Business Boss podcast. Be sure and enjoy a fantastic Thanksgiving this week. And just in time for the holidays, because the holiday season has already started for me. Book bundles, boxes, combination books, and all that good stuff. Royston Royal Bookstore.com. And any self-study courses, go to JuliaRoystonStore.com. You ever thought, well, I want to learn about, I want to go to JuliaRoystonStore.com. Who's in the comments this morning? Good morning, good morning. Hey, Miss Thompson. Yeah, get our attention. Yeah. Yeah. In our loss, we can focus on what is left. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So glad you all are with me today. I trust that this blesses you and helps you increase your faith and connection with God more than importantly than anything else. In February of 2026, I would have been going live on Sunday mornings at 9:30 for 6 years. 6 years. But it's a call. It's not just a something to do because I could be doing other stuff, but it's a call from God, and I'm honored and privileged to be able to do it. Good morning. How you doing, Ben? I hope everything's all right with you in the Great Northwest. Happy holiday to you too, and everybody else. A blessed Thanksgiving. Uh, Thank you so much. Thank you so much. To God be the glory in all that He's doing and about to do in all of our lives. And I trust that you all have a fantastic week. Part time, enjoy family. I don't care if you're eating hot dogs and bologna, chicken wings, a big old 20-pound turkey. Enjoy it, whatever that looks like to you. Let no man tell you how you should celebrate, or even if you get into bed with a big bowl of popcorn and a big red, whatever that looks, whatever that looks like to you, be thankful, be grateful, be appreciative of all that God is doing for you right now and all that He's about to do in the future. He's got us, and we can ask Him the hard questions right here and smack dab in the middle of some hard times. But He will. Jesus will carry us through. Ask the Savior to help you, comfort, strengthen, and keep you. He's willing to aid you. Jesus will carry you through. You all be blessed. I'm Dr. Julia Royston, praying today, tomorrow, and always that you live your best life. Be blessed.